spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scaryish podcast.
Woo!
I don't sound tired now, which is nice. If you guys have heard the episode that posted this morning, so tired.
She basically sounded drunk. She was tired. That's Robin Grace. I'm Adam Diaz, and this is Storytime, where we read you homegrown horrors. Robin, what's a homegrown horror?
So homegrown horrors are the tales of supernatural, paranormal, sometimes coincidental, spiritual, stories that you, your friends, family share with you, and then you share with us.
Or your stories.
I did say you.
I didn't hear that. I'm also
Open
extremely
your fucking
tired.
ears. And you share it with us, and we get to share it with the rest of the spooky friends, and it's a good time for everyone. So
Sometimes you get told to open your fucking ears when you make one mistake.
So, if you folks have those stories, please send them to us so we can keep story time going, because it can't happen without you guys.
Indeed. If you have a story like that, also please email storytime@scaryish.com. You can go to our website, scaryish.com, and click on Contact Us. Those will come directly to us, or you can go hit us up on any of our social medias. We have Facebook, which is facebook.com/scarishpodcast, Instagram, which is @scarishpodcast, and Twitter, which is @scarishpod. You can also join our Discord and let us know what's going on there, or you can just hang out with us. We have a bunch of channels. We have a not-so-spooky memes channel, which is where I get most of the memes I share with everyone in my life at this point. It is an amazing channel, so come and join us in the Discord server as well. But we have 4 stories we're going to share with you tonight, 2 long-ish and 2 medium to long. Shout out to Glitchgrim, who just resubscribed with his own money for the 10th month. This is #ThisPodDucks. Here's to 10 ducking more. Hell yeah, keeping that joke going from last week. I love it. So, do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to get into reading our first email of the night, and it is titled, Hey Guys, Homegrown Horror About Sleep Paralysis.
Right on.
Hey, Robin and Adam. I
Hello.
switched the names because I'm dyslexic. It's Adam and Robin, but you know.
She puts herself first at all times.
My name is Danielle, and I just recently found you on Spotify, and I've been obsessed ever since.
Shout out to Spotify.
Thank you. I listen to 2 to 3 episodes a day. Yeah, I love you guys so much.
Aww.
The story I'm about to tell didn't happen to me personally, but to my boyfriend. He said it's okay to share it with you guys and on the podcast. Sweet. So, it's about his recent experience with sleep paralysis. Note that he's not into scary stuff, so the experience really creeped him out. More so because it was his first time.
The first time is always the worst with sleep
Because
paralysis.
you have no idea what's going on.
It's like you don't know what paralyzation feels like until you have sleep paralysis, and then you 100% understand what it would feel like to be paralyzed, and it's terrifying.
Anyway, last September, my boyfriend, who lives alone in a studio-type condominium unit, that's a very long title for an apartment.
It's true.
Messaged me at 1:30 a.m. saying he had what he thinks is sleep paralysis and was scared to go back to sleep. During that time, I was already asleep, so I couldn't reply until morning. I asked him what had happened, and he told me that he woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't move his body. Only his eyes were open. That's the worst part, when you open your eyes. If I wake up after a bad dream, or if I know, or I feel like something scary is happening, I will not open my eyes because I'm afraid that as soon as I open my eyes,
You'll see something.
I'll see something. So if I have a nightmare or something like that where something scary is happening and I snap awake from it, I will not open my eyes.
It's that old child's trick where, like, if you think there's something creepy under your bed or in your room,
I
or you
can't
hear a
see
noise,
it can't see me.
Yeah, it's like you pretend to be asleep because for some reason this creature, this demon that's stalking you in your room will not harm you if it thinks you're asleep, because it's just standing like, come on, wake up. And you're like, honk shoe, honk shoe. It's like,
who
son
snores
of a bitch.
like that?
Everyone snores like honk shoe.
That's
the official verbiage / sound for pretending you're snoring. Honk shoe, honk shoe.
Oh my gosh. I like that meme that everybody's been posting of the sleep paralysis demons, like, this fucker's always on his phone.
Yeah, I really like that one because it's totally accurate for Robin too.
Then he heard footsteps outside his door and then heard it open despite being sure he locked it before going to bed. Since the hallway is always lit during nighttime, he saw a shadow figure of a man come inside and stop at the corner of his room near his bed where his head lay. So this shadow thing walked up to the bed right where his head was and was just like, what up, dog? That's scary. I don't know. That's why.
Yeah, a little bit. Having a shadow figure approach you while you paralyzed.
That's why I will not open my eyes, because I'm afraid that it's going to be right there in front of my face if I open my eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just compelled to open my eyes when I have sleep paralysis. So I do, like, still, if I'm going to bed and I think, like, I hear something a little bit creepy, I'll just keep my eyes closed. I'm like, not going to give it the time of day. Like, I'm going back to sleep. I'm too tired. Take me, Satan. I'm too tired.
Don't say that out loud. What if it turns into the stupid, like, the topic from this week?
No, I'm not threatening a kid who's possessed and threatening the demons inside, like, take me instead. I'm just like, if you're going to murder me, you're going to murder me while I'm falling back to sleep.
Thank you so much, Ashley Faison, for gifting a sub to Laura Ann.
Which boosts Laura Ann up to the 8th month for the resubscription. Shout out to both of you. We love you both.
He was sweating and forced himself out of sleep paralysis. When he could move again, he immediately got out of bed to check the door, and yeah, it was locked. He even checked the whole room to see if someone had broken in, but found no one, and nothing was out of place. Needless to say, he didn't go back to sleep. And after he told me that, I got worried and told him to call a priest and have his unit blessed. I mean, whatever or whoever entered his room may still be there.
Wow.
I have a lot more scary stories that I would love to share if you like. Sorry for any grammatical lapses. You guys are the best. Sending you love from the Philippines. Thank you so much. All the grammar was great.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, who knows? It could have been terrible, but Spooky Mom fixed it. But thank you to everyone who sent us stuff from the Philippines. We have like a really big contingent of listeners there.
Yeah.
Which is always impressive to see. We have a big contingent of listeners in a lot of places. But yeah, special shout out to the Philippines because the most recent email is from there. And thank you so much for sending that in.
Nice. Thanks.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move into my first email of the show. So for those of you who are not watching live and are listening, Robin set something up for our stream where folks that are watching can accrue points while they watch, just from watching, and then they can redeem them and force us to do random things that she has chosen. One of those things is speak in a silly accent for a minute, which we're going to have to do now. So it's of course super convenient that this is noticed when it's my turn to read. I don't know which accent I should do.
Just, you don't have to do an accent. You can do a random strange voice, like, let's do a radio voice.
Oh, God. I hate this so much. I apologize to Janet, the person who sent this email. Its subject is, Yo, dogs! I can't stand the fact that I'm about to do this. It's going to be an
It's only 1 minute.
Hellscape.
It's only a minute.
Are you going to actually count?
Yeah, I will keep track.
Okay. Hi, spooky friends. My name is Janet, and I found you guys on Spotify. It literally says A in the email. Shout out Spotify. I'm from Oberlin, Ohio, not Idaho, Robin. And you recently read my best friend Ashley's story on a Storytime episode. I've been listening to you guys for the past few months trying to catch up, but you guys keep me company when I make tortillas for Taco Tuesday at the restaurant I work at. That sounds delicious.
Oh my gosh.
How much more time do I have? You're supposed
you have
to be my
another 20
timekeeper.
seconds.
Oh, God. I literally get caught smiling like an idiot by my coworkers because you guys are hilarious. I have to be super careful to not accidentally connect to the main floor Bluetooth anytime I'm working in the basement. And yes, it's believed to be haunted by the Feve Ghost. F-E-V-E is how it's spelled.
You're free.
You're supposed to, let me know. So good. I can go back to talking like a normal person.
Yep.
Anywho, I literally just had something super creepy happen to me, and of course, my first instinct was to write you guys.
Nice.
First instinct, write Scaryish if you survive. Second instinct, if you're fearful that you might die, go Facebook Live. You should catch your attacker or assailant if it's a person, and if not, you'll prove the existence of ghosts, and we will all be very thankful that you took one for the team.
Emma non-redeemed. Ridiculous voices.
I'm not stacking them.
It'll be me. My responses will be stupid.
Okay, deal. So it goes on to say, I work 6 days a week, so usually on my 1 day off, I'll try to sleep in and cuddle my 3 Omen babies. Well, today I decided to stay in bed a little longer because it's fucking 21 degrees outside and snowy. I kind of miss the snow because it, forces you to, 1, have your heat on, and 2, cuddle under your blankets because it's cold. but I also don't miss it at all because I haven't scraped my car in 10 years. So, just saying. What? You're staring at me with a shit-eating grin on your face this whole time.
I'm just thinking about it, and it's making me laugh.
Thinking about what?
Just ridiculous voices.
Okay. I'm just messing around on my phone, and my locked front door swings open as if someone was about to come in. I'm What's for Dinner redeemed to ask a question. It says, if we all redeemed use a silly voice at the same time, what happens? I guess I'll let Robin answer
There's
that.
a limit to how many per episode, so...
Apparently it's 5 per episode.
Or something like that, yeah.
All right, getting back to it. I can see my front door from my bedroom, so I wait to see if my mom or my brother is coming in. They both have keys. Coming to drop something off thinking I'm at work or something. I scream out, hello? And no one answers. I get up to check, and there's no one there. No footsteps in the snow, no car in the driveway, nothing. The doorknob was still in the locked position and everything. It's a little windy today, but not enough to push open a locked door. Ashley was just over last night, and I watched her lock the door behind her and shut it tightly. So I do what any grown, independent, almost 27-year-old woman would do, and I called my mom, then texted Ashley to confirm she locked the door and told her what happened, and then I was going to email you guys. I've been wanting to email you guys about my mom's house and the creepy stuff that would I feel like that voice almost slipped out of me again.
The random radio
it's like a
voice?
fucking poison. I've been wanting to email you guys about my mom's house and the creepy stuff that would happen when they were renovating the house, but I'll leave it for another time. Keep up the great work, guys, and keep on creeping on. Your friend, Janet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet. I hope you're listening, making tortillas, and you hear me use this ridiculous voice that makes me sound like a stupid asshole, and you enjoy it, because I certainly did not.
Okay, so Cafe Rio, they make the tortillas right in front of you, you know what I mean? And those are legitimately some of the best tortillas I've ever had because they're just fresh. They're so fresh and they're right there. And I always buy extra to take home and eat like a little fatty.
I can confirm all these things except her being a little fatty. She's a little adorable.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, she said, yeah, she agreed with me.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for sending that in. Honestly, like, I've had a door swing open on its own that should not have ever swung open. And it's really fucking terrifying.
I would have run the fuck out of there.
The first thing that came into my mind is something just got in the house. Like, knowing it wasn't like a creature getting in the house, like a spirit. I just felt like a spirit just got enough power to enter my home. And it really, really creeped me out. So I'll leave you with that and those thoughts. And then you can decide whether or not it'll terrify you going forward.
Cool.
But thank you one more time for sending that in.
Thank you.
So this next email is pretty long. So strap in. We'll get to it. So it goes. What up, A-Dog, Rob Dizzle, and Scary Mom?
Those are pretty good nicknames.
Those are pretty good nicknames. I don't know about Rob Dizzle.
You don't like Rob Dizzle?
Sound like a bro. My name is B. Holstein. B. Holstein. And, but my friends, oh, hey! It is, I'm What's for Dinner. So, my name is B. Holstein, and my friends call me Beef.
What up,
because
Beef?
a Holstein is Holstein?
Just get through this one.
Is a type of cow. Hence my Discord name of I'm What's for Dinner. Called it.
And I'm What's for Dinner is currently watching, I believe.
I found you on Spotify. Q Adams, shout out.
Shout out Spotify.
On accident. That is crazy. I was actually looking for a comedy horror story podcast to binge and ended up finding your podcast, which is so much better.
I was going to say, what a mistake you had finding our comedy horror story podcast.
I grew up in a haunted house and am sending all the stories I currently remember all at once. Because
that's why it's so long.
Because that's how I roll. A little backstory on the house. It's around 100 years old, and we bought it from the previous owner's family. The previous owner was a man in his 50s who was trying to renovate the house, but died unexpectedly from a heart attack. The renovations were never finished. That's how you get ghosts.
It's better than it being finished and they, like, you know, brick themselves up behind a wall, like in Haunting of Hill House, because that shit's terrifying.
It kind of reminds me of the Winchester, because they kept building so many ghosts. It was never really finished.
It was deliberately not finished, though.
Yeah.
Because if it was finished, then it would have upset the spirits or whatever.
Because I have the memory of a geriatric gerbil. The following stories are not very detailed, and I don't remember every event. When I was around 8, I was cleaning my room when a Monopoly game box I had just packed up flew off the shelf, scattering pieces across the room. I'd be pissed because...
You just clean that shit up?
Well, 1, you just clean that shit up. 2, there's a lot of pieces in Monopoly. There's a lot of pieces in there. If I lost even one, I'd be pissed. I'm always just like, put everything back in the box, you know? I guess that was when my testicles descended because I started talking mad shit to whatever spirit was messing with me. It must have worked because there were no more events that day. Another instance, I can't remember my age, but I was still in elementary school. I woke up in my pitch black room. As a kid, I would just sit straight up in bed when I would wake up with no warning because children are creepy like that.
Like the fucking Undertaker just every time you wake up.
I've never seen
God damn it, man. Andrew is listening to this somewhere, and he is just shaking
I
his
know
head
who
furiously.
He is. I know who he is. I know what he looks like. I've never seen...
Well, you've seen like a wrestling match, right?
Yeah.
At some point, every person involved in a wrestling match will be like exhausted and just like laying on the canvas, like near the end of a match, you know, and they're like they're exhausted. Like they're real life exhausted, and they're pretending like they've been beaten to a pulp, and that almost always would happen in an Undertaker match, except he'd just be laying there, and all of a sudden he'd just like, just sit straight up, just like...
Imagine how, like, strong his abs must have been.
And then the crowd would, of course, go fucking nuts, because they knew it's like when Hulkamania would fucking start, and he'd be like hulking up to like beat someone's ass. Like, that was the Undertaker's thing. It's like he would sit up. It's like when The Rock would like kick someone's arm to the side and start taking off his like elbow band. You knew he was about to do the people's elbow.
What?
So, God, you suck. I can't even talk wrestling with you. And I'm like 15 years out on watching a wrestling match, so...
All right, so in this instance, I must have caught the entity we named the Shadow Man off guard because it's the only time I ever saw him, though other members of the household have had multiple encounters with him. He was a silhouette of a tall, slender man with a top hat. He was so dark that even with no light, I could clearly see him. He was standing by my dresser, leaning over it to look at something back towards me when I noiselessly sat straight up in my bed, like the spooky little shit I was.
That's hilarious.
In my sleepy state, the only thing I could think to say was, "Hi, Mom." The Shadow Man turned towards me, then disappeared.
He's like, "No, I have no kids." Poof, he's gone.
I just muttered to myself, I guess we've all seen the Shadow Man now. Oh my god. Why are children scary?
I don't know.
It's just like, what? I used the bathroom and went back to bed, hoping to never see him again. Another instance, my sister and I were trying to sleep. We had rooms across from each other in the mostly finished attic.
Mostly finished?
Why? Well, I just... Don't put rooms up there.
You mean the Sky Cellar? I'm very proud of that. Sky Cellar, and I don't remember what the other... Ceiling basement.
We kept hearing heavy footsteps. Fuck.
Glitchgrim is redeemed and asked a question. Says, since you missed it, do the accent.
Oh my
LOL.
gosh. What accent? Well, what voice or whatever do I want to do? I'll read it in... I'm just going to read it in a sultry voice.
A sultry voice?
Sultry voice.
Robin's doing sultry.
Okay. We kept... Or like, you know, reading spooky stories? I'm just going to read it like that.
Like lore?
Reading a... Yeah. Well, no, lore's kind of boring. Anyway. Okay.
Like Sword and Scale. I've never listened to
heard
Sword
it.
and Scale. I just heard that he's like ridiculous, or they, whoever they are ridiculously over the top in certain episodes.
We kept hearing heavy footsteps running up and down the stairs, and other noises on the main floor of the house. These noises continued until my mom woke up and started sprinkling holy water throughout the house while reciting the Lord's Prayer.
Who has holy water on hand to just start sprinkling?
My mom had a bottle. Growing up, my mom always had a bottle of holy water.
That's weird. Isn't she Buddhist?
I don't know. But I remember always seeing a bottle. It was like a little clear bottle, had like a white cross on it.
Wow.
I don't know.
That sounds like holy water. I only ever had holy oil, and I got it from my friend's grandma.
Let me keep reading.
Go for it.
All right. I remember still being a little scared, but at the same time thinking, this crap again, as we had experienced similar events before. Am I done yet?
Nope. Do you hear that, like, that? It's like a creaking.
It's because my mouth is thirsty.
It's Robin's cheeks. It's literally the sound of Robin smiling when she's thirsty. I redeem a hydrate.
Thank you.
I know these things because I listen to them to take them out. So sometimes it'll be like just before a sentence, and I'll see this little like clip, and I'm like, that's the sound of her mouth opening.
Okay. All right. A story my sister told me during a tutoring lesson. The door to the hallway opened, closed, then another door opened and closed, as if someone just walked through the room. Air currents could not have done this, as the doorknobs had to be turned to open them. The tutor stopped in the middle of a sentence when this occurred and watched wide-eyed.
I think you're at your minute.
Oh, sweet. After a moment, she asked my sister, what was that? My sister nonchalantly and without looking up from her work said, "Oh, that was just the ghost. Don't worry about it."
What the fuck? Who says something like that?
The tutor never came back.
I wouldn't either. I'd be like,
Nope.
okay, cool.
Haunted house,
should have
I'm out.
disclosed that. And
Fuck
you're
this.
probably making like $5 an hour or something terrible like that.
All right. So no, tutors make pretty good money. At least college tutors. I'm not sure. Because college tutors charge like $18 an hour.
Jesus.
Pretty good money.
That is good money.
But you only work like a couple hours at a time. So it's a little rough. All right. So I don't know what to call this next experience. I was walking home from school, going down a back alley when I heard growling behind me. I turned around and saw a large black dog, head lowered and hackles raised, growling
Hackles is
at
a
me.
good word.
I like to hackle the internet. Hack the internet. I don't know.
You
Anyway,
should probably mark that one. That was a swing and a miss.
you're swinging a miss.
That's really mean again. I'm leaving it in now.
I took one slow step back when it let out a vicious bark, spittle flying from its maw. That sent me sprinting towards home in a panic. I was just one house away from home at that point and just had to hope that I could make it through the fence before the dog could get me. I felt the dog's hot breath on the back of my calf when I jumped over our chain link fence and turned around to make sure the dog hadn't done the same. I was shocked to see that there was no dog anywhere down the street. I know I didn't hallucinate that dog. I know what I heard, saw, and felt. That was my only run-in with that dog. I'm still proud of having been able to jump over that fence, though. Never managed to do so before or since. Many years later, my sister and brother-in-law decided it would be a good idea to bring a Ouija board over because we were stupid. Why?
Yep.
Like, I never even want to buy one. So, like, spend the money on one or even make one.
One of the people on my team has a Ouija board mouse pad. And I'm just like, why? Why, God, why? There's only one pleasant picture of a Ouija board, and we all know it's that chick in the bikini where it's like, about to summon child support, or whatever that stupid fucking meme says.
Oh my God. I was still living in that haunted house, and we wanted to try to contact something. As a side note, I'll be referring to my now ex-brother-in-law as AC, which stands for asshole casserole.
Wow, asshole casserole.
Sounds gross.
I'm adding that to my diction from now on.
This is because I later found out that he was abusing my sister, the kids, and even their dog.
Yep, that's
Definitely
an
an
asshole.
asshole. It's worse than a douche canoe. He's an asshole casserole, for sure. In any case, we went over the rules such as don't take your hand away from the planchette, wake up the board by rubbing the planchette like you're trying to arouse it.
I've never heard that one before.
Rule? Do you just like, yes,
talk in a
hello.
sultry voice when you speak to the demons?
I'm just like, oh, I don't want to rub that thing. It's weird. That's what she said. And to close each session by running the planchette over goodbye, or risk trapping the spirit and have it haunt your stupid ass. The first time we used it, we didn't start out with much success. We were about to give up, but as the hour grew late, the planchette started to move around slowly in a directionless way. Around 1:30 a.m. or so, it started moving in a way that spelled out answers to questions we asked. The spirit I remember us communing with was that of a child. That's creepy.
That can spell.
The thing with children is it might be something far more sinister posing as a child.
Right.
Well, that could be with anything.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know it's a dog if it keeps spelling out woof.
Bones. Backyard. Out.
That's funny.
Treat.
Pretty good. Solid joke.
Through the questions we asked, we discovered my sister had seen the little boy while he was alive. The color drained from her face as she realized it was a little boy she'd seen swept away by floodwaters when we were just kids.
Holy shit.
That's fucked up, dude. He was around 8, playing around a flooded creek when he slipped off the side of a small hill and fell in.
What's his name, Georgie?
No, shut up. My sister told an officer about it, but he didn't believe her. She was apparently the last person he saw before he went under and drowned. And he attached himself to her. That is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's a lot of detail, too.
After that, we closed the session for the night. About a week later, we tried again. We communed with a couple spirits, one of which was a man who had been gunned down on his friend's porch steps. We ended up talking with the little boy again, who told us to call him, quote-unquote, little man. since he either didn't remember his name or didn't want to give it. I made a snide remark towards AC, so he jokingly asked Little Man if he could give me a headache. I told AC to go eat a doucheberry pie as we continued with our night. I woke the next morning with a migraine. No amount of pain pills or rest could shake it. After 3 days or so without relief, we brought out the Ouija board again and AC asked Little Man to stop. The headache immediately ceased. Since the board was out and set up already, we decided to continue using it. What? Why? What?
It's like if you've met a ghost child that's capable of giving you super migraines, I think it's time to pump the brakes on crossing over.
That night, we had a strong spirit start running the planchette to random areas of the board. This was not the slow sliding we usually experienced, but rather...
Zozo? This sounds like Zozo.
But rather a steady, quicker movement. We asked it if it was a good spirit, and it stopped in the middle of its movement and shot to no. It then started to shoot to the middle of the board, then back to no, rapidly. At that moment, it felt like we couldn't take our hands off the planchette if we wanted to. It felt like it was moving our hands around, instead of vice versa. After doing this several times, it shot across to goodbye, off the board, off the table, and halfway across the floor, as if it had been pushed with great force. We never messed with the board again after that. Good. Burn that shit.
Yeah.
Those are the events I currently remember. I can send in more stories if anything else jogs my memory, or if I can get my sister or mom to share any experiences they remember with me. And I think I speak for everyone when I say thank you to Adam and Robin Graves and Scary Mom for making this podcast possible. You're getting long-distance hugs from all of us. Oh, and try to get Scary Mom on the Discord. I'm sure we'd all love to chat with her. That'd be cute.
That would be cute. We'll see if she's down.
She's also really very busy.
Yeah, she works from home. She legitimately still works quite a bit, so.
But yeah, thank you so much for sending all those stories.
Yeah, those are really good stories.
They're really good, and it's really well written.
I like how you say, I don't remember a lot of these details, and then give incredibly detailed stories. So we do sincerely appreciate you sending that in, and thank you for always joining us live as well. And it's really fun to read stories for people who are watching while we read them. So, good stuff.
Cool.
So before we move on, let's take a quick commercial break. And we're back. All right, I'm going to move on to my last and the last email of the show, and the subject is homegrown horror. So that's pretty straightforward. Starts out like this. Wow, do you guys hear that guy going by revving his engine? I hate him. Starts out like this.
Looking at you from this angle.
Is it better or is it worse?
No, I mean it's good. It's just like my world's flipped upside down.
Oh, cool. We switched seats for those of you who are listening and not watching because we have a bunch of different things that we can be forced to do. We did the stupid accents that you've already heard, which are honestly kind of fun. But we were also made to switch seats, which is really awkward for someone who doesn't wear pants on a live stream. So, okay, I am going to read this email. Hi, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Autumn, they, them, and I've always been quite intelligent and in tune with ghosts and all things paranormal. Ever since I was a kid, I have only ever had...
Eminem Redeemed asked a question and said, motorcycles duck.
It wasn't a motorcycle. It was just a car being a douchebag. Because, like, there's a light right back here. And so when people get through it, if they're, like, really impatient, they're like, I need to just stomp on my gas in a 35-mile-per-hour zone and get pulled over by a fucking cop. Because this is totally a speed trap right next to our house.
It is like 4 lanes, though. Or 3 lanes.
It is. It looks like you should be able to go faster, but cops just sit right in these subdivisions and just wait.
The speed limit is 35 miles an hour. I don't know. People go real fast.
All right, getting back to this. Have only ever had nightmares, never any normal dreams. This, however, was not the weirdest thing that happens to me. One day, my mother and I were talking about the houses we lived in previous to the one we currently reside in. I was like 12 at the time of this talk. She asked me if I remembered what happened just before we moved into our current house when I was 6. I looked at her puzzled, and I asked what she meant. She looked horrified, and my mom never gets scared. All she had to say to me was the name of my imaginary friend, Michael. Memories flooded back to me of exploring the woods around my house and, sorry Robin, the basement with him. I smiled remembering the fun we had, but I noticed my mom was still a little spooked. I asked her if she saw a ghost, simply joking with her because I have always sensed ghosts and knew there weren't any currently around us. She told me the whole story of my, quote-unquote, imaginary friend. The story goes a little like this.
Imaginary friends just creep me out. The idea that a kid
sees something that no one else can see.
Right, and they interact with this thing like it is, or a person, being, entity that is there, and they just act like this thing is there and interact and talk with them, and it's just disconcerting, to say the least.
Yeah, a little bit. The story goes a little like this. Around the time I began talking, my mom had got the news that a student she went to school with had been in an accident. The woman had been driving while drinking with her son, who was around my age, sitting in the back. They both passed away.
Oh my gosh.
I had never met either of them, nor had my mom talked about them around me. I played on my own and never with my siblings. I also would rather play with sticks and mud than Barbies or electronics. I began telling my mom about a boy who was very nice and would play with me. She chalked this up to a simple imaginary friend because I didn't like other kids. That wasn't until I began telling her about him. My mom and I would have long conversations about lots of topics, even at such a young age. She decided she was going to ask me about my friend. She asked me if he had a name. I casually answered his name was Michael. This had only mildly scared her. What really made her question my sanity was when I told her how he died. I told her that he was murdered by his mother, but no one knew that it was her fault. He had been in lots of pain, but was okay now. My mom was utterly horrified. She then called my aunt, who sees and talks to ghosts, and she asked her what to do about the situation. She told my mother to embrace it and not make me scared for seeing it. My mom never made me feel scared of Michael. I even made her turn the car around a few times because we forgot to put Michael in the car, and I couldn't leave him home alone.
That's a little bit too much, I
That's
think,
a little bit fucking adorable, though.
It's really cute. It's cute.
Can't
and
Michael
scary.
teleport? I don't know the ghost rules. Someone get Patrick Swayze.
The thing with ghosts or entities or whatnot, imaginary friends, wouldn't they just fall back out of the car if they tried to sit in it or get in it? That's what is always so confusing for me, because if they can walk through walls, how are they able to sit in a car?
Do you know if he could walk through walls?
I just imagine ghosts can. When people say
all ghosts, that's pretty ghostist, Robin.
Oh gosh,
it's pretty fucked up.
You're right. But you're right. We need to be more PC about this.
More PC towards our ghost listeners who are like, I can't believe she said that, and then they try and like push stop on their iPad, and their finger just keeps going through it, and they just start ghost crying. So, okay, mom was utterly horrified, called the aunt, embrace it, turn the car around. Okay, here we go. Just before we moved out of that house, my mom took me there to say goodbye after we removed all of our belongings. I said my goodbyes and buckled myself into the car. Once we got to the end of the very long driveway, I began yelling at my mom to check the mail. My mom asked me why I wanted her to, and I told her that she didn't. If she didn't, Michael couldn't come with us. I never talked about Michael again, nor did I remember him up until the conversation years later. I am like Adam. I believe in the paranormal, but am skeptical about the stories I hear. I take everything with a grain of salt. I am also like Robin in the way of being scared of everything.
Yeah.
One different thing about me, though, is that if someone I love is scared, I immediately become very brave and protective. It's not really different. I think we're both the same way.
I think that's
Are
just
you
how
calling
people
us
are.
cowards? How dare you?
When my younger sister, when she was a baby, she's younger than me, obviously, and we went to the doctor to get her shots, and she's only like a year and a half younger than me. But whenever the doctors tried to like give her shots, she'd be crying, right? And I'm just like, don't touch my sister.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. I think when it comes to people that you care about and that you love,
you get brave real quick.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
it's
agree.
cute.
The story goes on to say, that is what happened a year later after the conversation that she brought up the memories of Michael. I spent the night at a friend's house with a group of friends. Since there were 5 or 6 girls, her parents sent us to her garage and gave us a speaker. We danced for about an hour with one of the 2 garage doors open. One of my friends sat down on the ground and was watching the rest of us bounce around. I turned to her to ask her a question, and I noticed she was looking outside with a horrible look on her face. Being the concerned friend I am, I dropped to the floor and asked her if she was okay. She slowly began giving me details of what she saw. She said she glanced outside, and in the reflection of one of the car windows, she saw a guy walk around to the backyard. She described him to me, and I recognized him immediately. In an act of bravery, I ran out to the backyard, ready to face whatever or whoever it was. I was only this brave because there were lots of people around, and their neighbor was my cousin and a cop. Upon looking at the yard, It was empty. My friends closely followed as I frantically ran around the perimeter of the house, and there was no one. I'd like to think that
weird.
Michael was reminding me not to get lost in my head and keep in touch with my childlike side.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. I have lots of other stories of ghostly things and horrid nightmares. I hope this isn't too long, and I know that it isn't scary, but still odd. Much love from Tennessee, Autumn. P.S. I have lots to catch up on as I've only just started listening.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad you've joined us, the Spooky Fam.
Indeed. Thank you so much for sending that in, Autumn. Those are really, really good stories, and just makes us do that shout out one more time of if you have imaginary friend stories,
send them in.
We definitely want to hear them.
Yeah, because I love hearing how many people have had imaginary friends. It's just so mind-blowing for me that there have been so many.
Right. No, I totally agree. And it's something that if I was a parent and my kid was talking to something that wasn't there, I would be disconcerted, but I would just let myself know, like, kids have really active imaginations. And then when they're like, so-and-so died this way, I'd be like, cool, let's replace the kid.
Oh my God.
It'd just be so scary. I'm not saying you should be replaced. I'm just joking. So thank you one more time for sending that in.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone who sent in a story. We sincerely appreciate everyone who contributes to the episodes. We love reading the stories that you folks send in, so continue to do that. If you have a story you would like to share with us, whether it's yours, a friend's, a family member's, or just something you would like to relate to us, please email storytime@scaryish.com. You can also go to our website, scaryish.com, and click on Contact Us. Hit us up on our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scariyishpodcast. Instagram is @scariyishpodcast, and Twitter is @scariyishpod. It's been really interesting having the seat switched because Robin has been piloting all the marks. She's so proud of herself right now. So she's been handling marking for editing. So if this episode is just a horrible edit, I sincerely apologize.
This episode is gonna duck so hard.
I think #this episode ducks, but we shall see. But yeah, thank you one last time to everyone who sent us stories. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us monetarily and give us them dollar bills, y'all, how can they do so?
You can go on over to patreon.com/scaryish-podcast, and those are monthly donations, a whole bunch of different tiers. Take a gander at all that we have to offer. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there, as well as discount codes for merch sometimes, things like that. So, I mean, if you join even for just $1 and you use the discount codes that are on there, you're already saving like $3 on stuff. Well, it depends on what you buy. But if you buy these new pins that I've created, then you save a whole bunch of money on those. The newest pin with the super cute demon horns one is going into production this week. So on Friday, they're going to start production, which means they're going to be sent out to everyone, hopefully within a month. You can also go to ko-fi.com/scaryish-podcast, and those are one-time donations. All those donations go to helping us upgrade our studio setup.
Indeed. So I think that's just about everything we have for Storytime episode 107, I think it was. So fun stuff. Robin, go ahead and sign us out. Now, when you do this, you have to start doing your sign out while also pressing, you have to do your sign out and then press the outro button.
Okay, keep on creeping on, and we will be back in our normal seat positions next week.